first vacancy, and that's how Earl Warren became Chief Justice. Bill Brennan was a Democrat. He was a liberal Democrat on the New Jersey Supreme Court, and Warren did it because he was trying to be bipartisan. It was a different era. The court had not yet weaponized itself, and people did not perceive the power of it. So Warren did it as, oh, let's be bipartisan. Brennan was a Catholic Democrat from New Jersey, and he was trying to reach out and broaden the tent. Brennan was brilliant, but did more damage to the court and the Constitution perhaps than any other justice. He was incredibly effective in moving the court to the left.
Although I think both of those guys would be, quite frankly, repulsed and shocked and would clinch their robes if they saw some of the rulings from Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Yeah, look, I hope that's right. Justice Jackson is a hardcore left-wing partisan. She is not doing the job of a judge. She is not pretending to do the job of a judge. Look, I went to law school with Ketanji. She was a year behind me in law school. We were both on the law review together. I knew her. We were not close, but we were friendly. She was perfectly fine as a person. She was perfectly nice and charming. But she is a left-wing activist who happens to wear a black robe. And look, when you have someone that is so woke, that is so...
Susan Collins was the deciding vote for Trump's Supreme Court justices who overturned Roe v. Wade. States are banning abortion, and women are dying.
I do not regret that vote.
Tell Susan Collins, stop voting for Trump's anti-choice judges.
What the most radical Democrat activist would do if you just said, what's the political outcome that our side favors? 100% of the time, that's Ketanji Brown Jackson and what she does.
So, I guess it falls to us to be wiser when it comes to selecting the Supreme Court justices. I never thought that we'd make these mistakes again, but now it seems like we have once again a very squishy majority.
There is a test. What I've suggested, the best and most reliable test, when I'm looking for, and listen, in 14 years in the Senate, I've selected a lot of judges who've gone to the federal bench. The way it works for vacancies in Texas is the senators make selections and send those names to the White House, and particularly for district judges, effectively the senators select the district judges. I will say I'm proud of the federal judges we put on the bench in Texas in my tenure here. What I'm looking for, and what I've advised President Trump to look for, is a proven record. Show me someone who has been, if you look at the greatest Supreme Court justices of modern times, Antonin Scalia, William Rehnquist, Clarence Thomas, and Sam Alito. Those four stand above all else. Those four all have things in common. All four served in government. All four served in the executive branch. All four had spent years and decades as principled conservatives, and all four critically had been excoriated. They had been pounded, demonized, and vilified for being a conservative, and they didn't waver. When I'm looking for who will make a good judge, look, I want temperament, I want ability, but I want to see when have they been in the cauldron, when have they been in the fire, when have they taken the shots, and how did they behave? I think that's the best record. And look, I will say Amy Coney Barrett had a very limited record. She'd been a law professor. She had written a law review article that was critical of Roe versus Wade, and that was one of the reasons I think she got appointed. But other than that, look, that took courage. But if you took that one instance out, there was very little in the record to point to give you any indication one way or the other what kind of justice she would be. And every single time that we've gone with someone without a proven record, we've said, let's roll the dice. We've lost 100% of it.
Yes. I hope that we get wiser about that. I do have a presidential election question for you, but more recently, the questions of the political earthquake in Texas, with Ken Paxton versus John Cornyn. What's happening in the state of Texas? What should we read into this? What's the mood in the Senate right now?
Look, these midterms are massively important, and I'm worried about it. It is a rough political environment. We're right now in about a D+7 environment. What that means is the polling is pretty consistently about 7 points more Democrat than it was on Election Day 2020. that ain't good. We need to move those numbers. I'm worried about losing the House. I'm worried about losing the Senate. I'll tell you, I'm already spending and will be spending a lot of time on the road campaigning for my colleagues. I'll say in the last decade, there is no Republican who has spent more time in campaign for more Senate candidates, House candidates, governor candidates than I have. And going into this midterm, I'm going to be on the road a ton trying to win these races. I'm worried about it. And you asked about Texas in particular. Listen, I think we're going to win in Texas. But it is a real race, and people should not take it for granted. Ken Paxton, I've known for a long time. He's a good guy. He's a strong conservative. I think Ken will win. But the current polling in the race shows it is about a 2-point race. And Talarico, the Democrat, I think is really dangerous. He is ideologically very extreme, but he also is affable, he's soft-spoken, he sounds like a preacher. And Benny, what worries me is a soccer mom who's not paying close attention to politics, who flips on the TV and sees him, would say, gosh, he seems like a nice young man. That's dangerous, because this guy is a wackadoodle. But I prefer my wolves in wolves' clothing. And I think the most dangerous Democrats are those that mask how radical they are. I'm going to spend a lot of time supporting Ken Paxton and supporting Senate and House candidates across the country, because I think if we lose the midterms, the next 2 years will be a circus with nothing but impeachments and investigations and attacks. And the Democrat Party is defined by just hatred for President Trump. We need to keep them as far away from the reins of power as humanly possible.
The landscape for the Democrat Party, pure communists now. I'm not going to use their language. It's not social democrats. It's communism. This should be illegal. I mean, frankly, based on immigration law, it's written into our law that you're not allowed to naturalize a communist. Somehow we don't exercise that, but maybe the landscape looking forward, AOC is skyrocketing in the polls right now. Kamala Harris not doing that great in the prediction markets. Gavin Newsom has been clobbered. AOC now ascended.
Yeah. Listen, I think the top 2 frontrunners for Democrat president in 2028 are Gavin Newsom and AOC. And I think AOC is right.
Hey, we need to talk. You're driving, we're watching. You see you glance at your phone. But touch up your makeup. You're always sad.
Pay attention.
So why don't you? You appreciate you driving us everywhere. We get worried sometimes. Our safety depends on you. So think about us in the backseat. Think about us. And drop the distraction. Please, be safe when you're driving. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Who have taken over our elite universities, and they now are engaged in a hostile takeover of the Democrat Party. And the rest of the Democrats, look, I serve with a bunch of Democrats in the Senate. Most of them are not themselves Marxists, but they are terrified of that wing of the party. And you looked at all the Democrats who made the pilgrimage to Mecca and went to Manhattan to campaign with Comrade Mondani. And they are terrified out of their mind. Chuck Schumer cannot win another election in the Democrat Party. I have joked, but I think it's true, that Chuck Schumer will be the founding member of the AOC for President Committee, because Schumer desperately wants her not to primary him. And here's a prediction I've done before on my podcast, Verdict with Ted Cruz. I think Mondani is going to end up replacing Chuck Schumer in the Senate. I haven't met the guy, but I have a feeling he's going to be in the Senate in just a couple of years.
Wow. So that is a full communist takeover.
Yeah.
Last time we saw this was Dr. Fauci and COVID. Dr. Fauci's going to be in. I think you're going to be on that committee, potentially questioning him. What should happen to Dr. Fauci? He's going to come in 2 weeks to the Senate.
Look, Fauci lied. He lied to Congress deliberately. I think Fauci is the most dangerous bureaucrat who has ever lived. And I think he did massive damage. I think he should be prosecuted and go to jail for lying under oath to Congress. And I've called for that for a long time. To date, the Department of Justice hasn't done that.
Really love to see that happen. Many people are there are many rumblings about, and last question here, I know you have to go, many rumblings about what could happen in 2028. Many people say that you might be planning a run in 2028. Is that true?
Look, I think there will be plenty of time to worry about 2028 as it gets closer. We've got a midterm election in 4 months, and I am devoting all of my time. I want us to have a Republican Senate, a Republican House, and I want President Trump. There is a lot of work still to be done. We've accomplished more in the last year and a half than in any time since I've been alive. It has been incredible. The energy, the action that Donald Trump has brought to the White House has been extraordinary. I've been Donald Trump's strongest ally in the U.S. Senate for more than a decade. I'm proud of what we're getting done, but if we lose the Senate or the House in the midterms, that agenda crashes to a halt. And so my focus is on the midterms. There'll be plenty of time next year to worry about. It will matter where we go after President Trump. We need to continue winning the kinds of victories that we're winning now, but there'll be plenty of time for that discussion next year.
All right. Well, if you want a discussion by Senator Cruz, you can go ahead over to Penguin Random House. Going further, available now, the incomparable Clarence Thomas. No one better to actually write this tome, and certainly one of the absolute icons of the era. You can also follow Ted Cruz. He has 7 million subscribers here on X. You're probably one of them, but just a man that keeps it rolling in the state of Texas. Congratulations on SB4, where Texas can deport their own illegal criminal aliens. That's something I'm very jealous of in the state of Florida. So congratulations, Senator. Can't believe Texas got that one on Florida.
Well, thanks, my friend. Florida and Texas should keep competing. It makes both states better.
Yeah, you should take Tallarico out for machine gun bacon. You should.
At one point, so
that was fun. That would be a
campaign ender. Yeah, that would end the campaigin. You should. That would solve all the problems.
I'm not sure he would know which end of the gun to hold.
But here he goes again. Ice tries to stop him. He keeps doing.
Thank you, Senator Godspeed.
You can't see it. They hit it. Well, it's not slowly coming to a stop. He's still going in circles.
All right, very good. Got a Tallarico burner in there. All right, it's just in time. Just in time. Serious stuff to talk about. Covered a lot of ground there, and well, ladies and gentlemen, didn't dig down as deep as we wanted to on election fraud. That's what our next guest is for, and also because of our technical difficulties and our delay, the senator was supposed to join right off the top of the show at 10 a.m. Is that correct, Alex? We were supposed to get like 20 minutes with him. But unfortunately, because of the technical difficulties and some delays, we had to push through our time for Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna. She had to move on. And so we will be rebooking the Congresswoman. We're sorry about that. We have John Fredericks coming up in just one moment. Technical difficulties? Do you have them? Patriot Mobile can make sure that you are locked and loaded and if you are unreachable, you're reachable. Patriot Mobile has great, swift, fast, dependable connections throughout the country and the world, actually. We know this because we use them all the time. We're traveling today, in fact, to the other side of the state for a very exciting meeting. Patriot Mobile will be in our back pocket, keeping us connected. Go to patriotmobile.com/Benny, call 972-PATRIOT, use a promo code Benny for a free month of service. That's patriotmobile.com/Benny, call 972-PATRIOT to make the switch today. Okay, switching it up over to John Fredericks, who is ready to join up. I've been a huge fan of John Fredericks. He's the host of the John Fredericks radio show, but also somebody who was a bombshell expert on election fraud and what's been going on in Georgia. And we have huge news out of Georgia. I think the world is going to change in 24 hours. John Fredericks here to lay the entire landscape out for us as to what happened in Georgia and what we might learn tomorrow night. Let's go. John, thank you so much for being on the program. I apologize for the slight delay here. We had some technical difficulties. We're locked and loaded. I just want to jump straight to Georgia because it seems like that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow night. President Trump makes his address. Can you perhaps give us a preview of what you believe may have been found? We hear that the FBI has surged 300 agents to Fulton County. They've really ratcheted up. The executives in Fulton County are preparing for criminal charges. What are they going to find?
Well, first of all, Benny, thank you for having me, and I really appreciate it. Big fan of your show and what you're doing. I'm live right now in Pennsylvania at the War College in Carlisle. Dave McCormick putting on the Defense Innovations Summit. President Trump's going to be here in a couple hours, and he'll be addressing us at about 2:33 p.m. Eastern. We have been following this Georgia election fraud debacle since basically 2020. Let me break this down for you. From the very beginning, 6 years later, we're still trying to get these ballots of forensic audit and find out what exactly happened. We had several affidavits after the election in 2020 of veteran, I'm talking about veteran election officials on the Republican side that have been serving for some time on the election board who submitted affidavits saying that they thought upwards somewhere between 25 and 30,000 mail-in ballots were basically fraudulent, that they were on pristine paper when they were being counted, they weren't folded. Now, to have a mail-in ballot, you got to put it in an envelope. You got to fold it. They weren't folded. Well, that's odd. How did they get there? What, did somebody steam them? Right? So we had that going on. Then they were on paper, they said, when they were counting the ballots, the paper felt much different than the regular paper on the ballots. Then the affidavits of veterans said they all voted the same way, right down the line. And there was a squiggly mark for Biden that was all the same on every ballot they counted, and they estimated there might be 25 to 30,000 of these. So in a number of lawsuits that have gone on for 6 years, we've been trying to get to the bottom of these ballots, and all we asked for was a forensic audit to prove once and for all were these ballots, as some alleged, run through a copy machine and then stuffed into a scanner, which could have given Biden 25,000 more votes. He won Georgia by 11,000. That would have flipped the state. Wouldn't have mattered, though, in 2020. But what it did matter, Betty, it changed the balance of power in the United States. Because as a result of that, right, Purdue got in a runoff, which he wouldn't have been. He would have won outright because the Libertarian got several percent of the vote, then got beat in that. Purdue would have been the senator. You had no John Ossoff. You also would have had Senator Kelly Loeffler and no Warnock. Both of these would have gotten beaten if these indeed were fake ballots. So these are the things we have to look at. They've been in a warehouse since 2020, right? And we had a number of lawsuits. Every time we got close to getting them, somebody didn't have standing, it got thrown out, it got stopped, a number of judges got involved. We never got to the bottom of this, ever. That's why Tulsi Gabbard went in there, wanted to make sure those ballots were still secure in a warehouse. Here's the other thing I want. I want to make sure there's 30,000 envelopes that go with the alleged 30,000 fake ballots. Because doesn't mean you can't match the envelope.
Susan Collins was the deciding vote for Trump's Supreme Court justices who overturned Roe v. Wade. States are banning abortion and women are dying.
I do not regret that vote.
Tell Susan Collins, stop voting for Trump's anti-choice judges.
What fucking time is it? It's time for work. Everyone, meet our new dishwasher.
Yeah, I guess anyone that doesn't understand those things. Yeah, they don't get it, I guess. Or they're working for evil forces, whether knowingly or not knowingly. So, try to call them out on it. Don't offend them. Yeah, no, anyone not understanding those things, and anyone trying to diss Susan Collins is a freaking idiot. It's a dead giveaway that you're a freaking idiot.
Oh, exactly. Oh, it's always about Donald Trump. Well, what
Shoot
about
fly,
Donald Trump?
don't
That's all
bother
about
me.
Donald Trump.
Shoot
Talking about
fly,
what you
don't
want in
bother
president.
me.
Well, I am, because that's why I released all my taxes for decades, and you will have all those new tax returns. So I have no reason why you haven't gotten them already, so I have no problem.
Can you remind on the FBI federal investigations?
Yes.
Not much more than has already been provided. I mean, this is purely political.
Now, is he just like blushing and turning really red? Is this a camera thing? Or is he legitimately trying to copy Trump in every facet up into getting a spray tan to make him not even look like he doesn't even look like a human right now. He looks like, what is it on? When you have a snake and they're not big enough to eat actual rats, you gotta give them the pinky, like the little blind babies. Like, why does he look like a pinky right now?
You've seen some of the reporting, I'm not sure, maybe you guys have reported it as well. People have stated pretty clearly they were directed to find something.
Kind of like what they did to Trump. If you're trying to beat Trump so bad, you gotta be willing to take the heat that Trump gets constantly. Now, I'm not saying we do not want people actually trying to end him, and we don't even want political lawfare against him. But if he's gonna delve in that world, he's got to be pretty ironclad in terms of, can they find something? Is there something they can find with his real estate, with his wife's business dealings, with the no bid contracts they may or may not be handing out about regarding diapers? You got to have everything locked down pretty tight, because it's not like the Democrats can silver platter nepo baby you the presidency. They're gonna try to find some controversies, and the fact that he's very, very worried, pinky-like right now, makes you think he doesn't belong here. He knows there's something to find. Why is he subjecting himself to this? Yeah, scrutiny, that's the word.
To find something. Just directed. Find something.
Is there something to find? I don't care if this is political lawfare. And the only reason they started turning up these stones is because Trump was like, you know what, Governor, like even if Trump said, which is not, even if Trump or J.D. Vance said, you know what, we're really scared about a Governor Gavin Newsom. We're afraid that the successes that are in California are going to spread to the rest of the continent. So you know what, we gotta stop them before we go find something. It's like, I don't care if it's a directed attack. If they find legit fraud, fraud is fraud, it should end its political career.
That's just everything you need to know about the United States of America under Donald Trump. And so we continue to, maintain vigilance as it relates to the just weaponization by the Department of Justice and other power ministries under the Trump administration. And,
it's Trump.
And a lot has been reported, and I don't have much more to add except
it's Trump's fault.
It's pretty disgraceful.
Okay. And the funny thing is, okay, this is from California Post. They got some good reporting, but the stuff they said about Conor McGregor after he lost that fight, like, good God, they gotta fix some stuff with their paper. But the funny part is, it's not just this part of it where they say, hey, what about tax returns? Like, look at the full thing. It's just like an extra 38 seconds.
Anyone didn't ask? That's good.
He's so mad. He doesn't want to talk about the taxes. Remember, I'm going to give you my tax returns I was given. It's Donald Trump. Why is this other angle? Like, did the California Post really, desaturate how he bred? Like he's literally cooked. Like, what happened to him? It would make sense if everybody in this shot, like, sometimes rival publications will bump up the saturation to make Trump look more orange. And, like, his face and his hair, it's, like, more offset. So they're trying to make him look weird, right? But everybody behind him looks human. Maybe this guy is they all seem kind of whatever. Like, I guess this guy has more of the red because it's like he's closer to the curtain. But how come the guy in the front? It's just weird. But okay.
Good. Yeah, well, everybody has. Everybody has. I already have. I've given 20 years of my taxes. Yes. I know you love taxes. Donald Trump. When's he released? Well, I am, because that's why I released all my taxes for decades, and you will have all those new tax returns. Because I have no reason why you haven't gotten them already.
He's so uncomfortable.
Why is there so much attention and time? All of this? Like, look at all these people standing around asking this dude about his taxes. What the fuck? It's insane, and they know it, and they just keep showing how insane it is, and that's become, I guess, what people are doing, showing how insane it is. And then if it's not insane enough, they have people to make it insane, and then they get on the stage. We've had about 16, 17 people on that stage, and then there's people out in the audience. They're all clapping. What are you guys doing? Wasting all this taxpayer money? Really, I wonder how much taxpayer money goes into paying these people's salaries, paying for the place that they're standing in. Do they have refreshments there? Who pays for that?
Just making it to space, reinventing how we get to what do they say? Before Elon Musk and we went to space, it was like we took an airplane, flew from LA to New York, and then destroyed the airplane every single time. Now we can fly it back and forth. Completely changing the game, and now it looks like.
Well, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that either. It's just a matter of
saving,
giving one guy a hard time about it, making a show out of that, and wasting more taxpayer money on doing that. Right, and then other people then make money from the media, publicity, the debate. And then there are others who really appreciate all that noise and ignorance while they're fucking our kids and feeding child and animal abuse out to these activist groups acting like total fucking entitled douchebags, putting a lot of Americans in danger. Danger! Yeah, totally insane. Much love, health, and peace to you all. Any other questions, comments, concerns, or suggestions as to how we can get the facts reported on around here and help these children, hostages that have been abused for years? Facts. Those are the facts. Anytime, folks. Much love, health, and peace to you. Mwah.